This is the video for the base plate assembly. We've just got to put some bearings in here for the Z-axis drive belt to run through or run along. There's four bearings. There's two bearings that become one assembly for the tensioner, and two bearings, one each for the corners for your Z-axis lead screws. I might just start with those. They're 6mm inner diameter, 10mm outer diameter, and these just press fit into the corners. Before I do that, let's just look at the build plate itself. It is actually handed. There we go, a little arrow there. That arrow needs to be facing up, and it indicates that this is the front of the machine. So we'll start our assembly with the arrow here. I'll just press fit both of those. Bearings into these corner holes. Now they do need to be seated nice and flush, so just make sure that they're pressed in firmly. And that is, just have a look at them side on just to make sure they're not crooked. They're not, so that's great. So now we'll put the tensioner together. There's this little part here. It has rounded edges on it. It looks a little bit like the turn toggles that we were using for the X and Y axis. It was positioned here in your kit of parts, the laser cut sheet. It's got the letters S and T on it. It's a tensioner. We take our 20mm button head bolt and put it through there, and from the underneath slot that up in this slot, so that should move along like this. Then we'll put a mudguard washer on here. Then we'll put the small washer on here. Now this is really important because your bearings won't run unless you have that small washer there. They'll foul on the washer underneath. Now these are flanged bearings, the little 3mm inner diameter, 10mm outer diameter, and they're flanged, and it is really important that you get the flange on this correct. So you can see here, it's like a little top hat. First time around, or for the first one, the flange needs to be pointing down, and for the second one, the flange needs to be pointing up. So it looks something like that. Now this is really important because this captures or keeps captive the drive belt. I'm just going to take the hex nut, pop that on last. We don't really want this too tight at the moment anyway because it's going to slide. We're going to have to use it to tension the belt. So there we go. That's the base plate ready to go.